Just a 20-something doomer with nothing to lose. I live on hate and booze. Don't worry, boys. I got reinforcements. So, yeah, I'm drinking the store brand cola from Cott Beverages. Because, Coca-Cola wants me to be less white. And I'm unapologetically white. So I don't play that. Stop giving money to people who hate you. It's a good tip. Okay. So, guys, there is no such thing as a peak clown world. Clown world is a bottomless pit of degenerate stupidity. So we're now learning that it's racist for a white cop to save a black girl from being stabbed to death. It's like these people are mindless. They don't care about context or facts. It's just when a white cop kills a black person, it's racism no matter what. The main narrative from the trash bags that support BLM seems to be that, well, knife fights between black girls it's just fine. It's common. It's an everyday thing that just happens. It's not assault with a deadly weapon. It's not attempted murder. It's just like a schoolyard fight, and there's no reason for police to get involved. Like, could you imagine, like, actually being the cancer that believes this? And I mean, apparently black kids do kill each other a lot, and I mean BLM and the corporate media doesn't care, but apparently the night before Micaiah was shot by police, there's a 13-year-old black girl that stabbed another 13-year-old black girl to death, and unfortunately there was no racist white police officer there to stop her. And just minutes away from where Micaiah was stopped from murdering another black girl, there were these two 15-year-old black kids who got in a gunfight, and one of them died. Again, no racist police officer was there to intervene. So it's just unfortunate that this stuff happens all the time, and like no one cares. Oh, Black Lives Matter, but apparently not. And there's this one degenerate piece of filth that works for our illegitimate government, and it said something to the effect of, police violence disproportionately affects black people. And of course, this is because of racism. That's what we're supposed to believe. But I have a different theory based on facts, unlike anything you'll hear from, the criminal organization in Washington or their mouthpieces in the corporate media. So this is stuff that, pretty much everybody already knows, but they just don't want to talk about. But if you look at demographics in the U.S., 60.1% of the population is white, non-Hispanic or Latino, and 13.4% is black. Known murderers are 29.1% white and 39.6% black, with 29.3% being unknown. 41% of murder victims are white and 53.7% are black. In expanded homicide data from the FBI, in single victim, single offender cases, 88.5% of cases were a black offender and a black victim. 78.6% of cases were a white offender and a white victim. And, this statistic generally seems to be true for all crime. From what I can tell, it's usually like between 80 and 90% of crime is between people of the same skin color. Now, cases of a black victim and a white offender were in total 246, or 8.4% of black murder victims. Cases of a white victim and a black offender were in total 566, or 17.1% of white murder victims. So even though there are 4 times as many white people in America, there were twice as many white people murdered by black people than the other way around. And if you look at the big picture of total murders in the country, even if every unknown murderer was white, you would have 60.1% of the population committing 58.4% of the murders, which is, about a 1-to-1 ratio. But even if none, like zero of the unknown murderers are black, you still have 13.4% of the population committing 39.6% of the murder, which is like a 1-to-3 ratio. And according to the CDC, the leading cause of death for young white men ages from 1 to 44 is unintended injuries. Homicide is the 4th leading cause of death for white men ages 1 to 19. And for white men of all ages, homicide is not even in the top 10 leading causes of death. The leading cause of death for young black men from ages 1 to 44 is homicide. Homicide is the 4th leading cause of death for black men overall. That's insane, all right? The point being that a disproportionate number of victims and perpetrators of violent crime are black. So, wouldn't it just make sense that they're disproportionately likely to have run-ins with police? I mean, have you ever heard of Occam's razor? Did we just throw that out the window? No, it just has to be racism, no matter what. Now, you might be thinking, whoa, man, you can't talk like that. People think you're racist. So just let me clear that up. Okay, first of all, I'm white. So I've already been condemned as racist since the day I was born. I'm somehow at fault for every bad thing ever done by anyone with my skin color. But for some reason, we can't even hold black people accountable for what they as individuals do today. And second, pointing out the fact that the black community is disproportionately violent when compared to other communities is not racist. Okay, your skin color has absolutely no effect on your character or your actions. All right, believe it or not, there are still rational adults outside of your clown world that you live in, and there's a completely non-racist explanation for why the black community commits more crime. So the black community has the least intact family out of any community in the country. From what I can tell, somewhere between 64 and 54% of black kids grow up in a single parent home. All right, that's a tragedy. And this table from Pew Research shows that only 31% of black kids grow up with married parents. The non-marital birth rate is the highest among blacks, around 70%, which is in line with the data from Pew Research. Boys who grow up without fathers are more likely to drop out of school and commit crime, and girls who grow up without fathers are more likely to become pregnant out of wedlock. And of course, none of this has anything to do with skin color, obviously, because at least at one point, the black family was pretty stable in America. If I had to give a reason for the destruction of the black family, I'd say it probably has something to do with the government incentivizing single motherhood and just, the general war on the family in our culture. BLM wants to dismantle the Western prescribed nuclear family, even though Asians are doing it better than anyone else. But whatever, it's Black Lives Matter. These people are incapable of rational thought. So to all the black people that want to hate me and blame the white man for all their problems, I'll say this. It's not okay for teenage girls to stab each other to death. It's not okay for teenage boys to get into gunfights. And it's not okay that the leading cause of death for young black men in America is homicide. All right, like before you blame me, before you blame the white man, maybe try raising your kids. All right, maybe, just maybe, give that a shot before burning down civilization.